he played the sitar, me play the guitar. So I thought he'd leave me standing. But it was such a wonderful thing to do. And it's so wonderful that album, that Led Zeppelin 1 album, was such a success. And so much focus was played on that particular song. And it's this gentleman we have to thank. And we've seen each other two or three times since in various events. And I've met your family, which has been really, really wonderful. And I got invited here tonight, and I was just so thrilled to be able to come. And now we see that we have a book, which I'm sure we're going to discuss with everybody. But it's such a thrill to be here. And also to see Najma here, Najma Akhtar, who worked on a project with myself and Robert Plant in the 90s. So there we are. Over to you, sir.
Dedication to him in the front cover.
Oh.
So I hope you enjoy it. I've written about this recording experience that we had, and what Jimmy didn't tell you was that that it was quite an easy recording session. I don't remember any difficulties or problems. Almost the first or second take, and it was there, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
But I want to tell you about another recording experience I've had, which was quite typical of that era in the late 60s and early 70s. This was called a jingle. It was for an advertisement. And this time I really did have to play a sitar. And I arrived at the studio with my sitar, and this chap skipped over to me in his standard bell-bottom trousers, skin-tight shirt, a wide kipper tie, flower pattern tie, and saying, "Far out, baby, far out, man. I just can't wait to hear that sitar twang, you know." And so I looked at him, but he introduced me to his composer for the advertisement, who handed me some sheet music. And I said, "Look, I'm very sorry, but I don't read Western music. We don't have that tradition in our music culture." And so he said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "We spend years and years practicing and memorizing and improvising. So when we play on the stage, it's from memory and improvisation. And it depends on our mood, you know. If we're in a good mood, then things really rock and roll," which was, I think, the wrong word to use then. So the producer said, "What can I do to help you get in the mood?" He asked me, "Do you drink?" And I was a student, so my face obviously went out in a big grin. "A little bit," I said. And he pulled out a bottle of whiskey, so we started drinking. And he said, "May I light some joss sticks?" I said, "Yes, of course, that goes with Indian music. It all adds to the mood." And believe me, 2 packets of joss sticks and 3 bottles of whiskey later, everybody was far out. And we managed to record 30 seconds of that sitar twang for an advertisement to sell petrol, which had a tiger coming out of the tank. Anyway, I managed to stagger out of the studio with the producer skipping behind me saying, "Far out, baby, really far out." Yeah. And the accountant handed me a nice fat check. That compared to another recording experience with the BBC. And I had just produced a concert of the very great Tumri singer Shobha Gurtu, which I'm sure you will have heard of. A wonderful singer of light classical, but we say light, but it's very serious and beautiful romantic music, generally depicting the love for Krishna through the love of 2 human beings. But she had a very interesting attitude when she performed. She came from a certain background which gave a lot of experience in entertaining men. And so she sang this song, and is Swatiji here? I'm going to ask my dear friend Swati Natekar to come and sing this for you. It's an iconic song, and it's about, let her sing it, and then I'll translate the words, and then take you through the actual recording event.
Thank you.
Where will she use this mic? Or maybe you're sitting on the chair, actually. Thank you. Yes, yes, absolutely. Swati Natekar is actually a very well-known classical singer coming from a strong heritage of classical music in Bombay. But she's doing me a favor this evening just to sing for a couple of minutes. But I wanted you to hear this particular song before I talk about my experience with it.
It's absolutely a pleasure for me, Viramji, and hearty congratulations for the book launch. रंगे सारे गुलाबी चुनरिया ओ रंगी सारी गुलाबी चुनरिया रे रंगी सारी हो रंगी सारी हाँ रंगी सारी गुलाबी चुनरिया रे मोहे मारे नजरिया सावरिया रे मोहे मारे नजरिया सावरिया जाओ जी जाओ करो ना बत्तियाँ जाओ जी जाओ 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 करो ना बत्तियाँ ए जी बाली है मोरी उमरिया रे ए जी बाली है मोरी उमरिया रे मोहे लागे ओ मोहे मारे नजरिया सवरिया रे मोहे मारे नजरिया सवरिया रे
Well, my friend Willie Robson at the BBC wanted to broadcast this song. And so he asked me to come to the studio to talk about the meaning of the words and to do a little bit of introduction to the style of music. Now, the words talk about a shawl which is colored red. And the red color in India is synonymous with love. And the lady is saying to her lover, stop chit-chatting, batiya na bataya, stop your small talk, color my shawl red. Now, you can make whatever you want of that. It has many different meanings. But the studio was arranged in such a way that Willie was on this side of a glass panel and I was here. He was looking at me and he has a very stern expression on his face. And have you ever had the giggles? Do you know what it's like to have the giggles? Irrepressible giggles. I got them. And boy, I just couldn't stop giggling. and I tried to explain the words, and the giggles were interspersed with unmentionable profanities and expletives. Ended up saying, oh, cut the chit-chat and come and make love to me, not in those such polite words. And a few days later, I received a CD from the BBC. And I thought, what the hell is this about? And I played it, and Willie had been recording all of this. Whatever I said went down onto a CD. Very embarrassing, but it was fun.